Put a hot cup of coffee on your desk. Next to it, a glass of ice water. Right now, in the few inches between them, you have something useful. A difference. Hot one on one side, cold one on the other. With the right little machine, you could run an engine off that gap. Turn a tiny wheel, light a tiny bulb. Not much, but something real. Now walk away. Come back in an hour. The coffee is gone lukewarm. The ice has melted. Both have drifted to the temperature of the room. Here's the strange part. Almost none of the energy has left your desk. It's all still there, spread evenly through the air, the cup, the glass. But your little engine won't turn anymore. Not because the energy is gone, because the difference is gone. That's equilibrium. And it's the most comfortable, most stable, most quietly dangerous state a system can reach. What if the same laws that move the universe also moved your users? Welcome to Physics of Gamification, the podcast where science meets behavior design. I'm your host, Hakan Uzer, co-founder of Motivacraft. In each episode, we break down one core gamification mechanic and connect it to a law of physics that explains why it works. Today's topic, equilibrium, and the quiet danger of a culture that's finally stopped fighting. A quick honest word before the physics. If you've been waiting on this show, it's been a while. The last episode went out at the start of February, and then things went quiet. No mystery to it. Work happened. A run of big sprints that needed pretty much everything I had, and something had to give. For a few months, the show was the thing that gave. So, sorry for the silence, and thank you for still being here. But I didn't only step back to ship work. I stepped back to rethink the show. The first 35 episodes did one thing. Take a single law of physics, map it into a single mechanic, one force, one user, one behavior. That was the right place to start. It's also a very small object to push around. So I'm raising the altitude. From here on, the physics stays, but the object gets bigger. Less, how do I move one user, and more, how does a whole system behave? Teams, cultures, organizations. The same laws, momentum, friction, energy, equilibrium, pointed at the structures those users actually live inside. It's the difference between studying one moving ball and studying the weather. And today's law is the perfect place to make that turn, because it's a law about what happens to entire systems when they finally settle down. In thermodynamics, there is a humbling little fact that took engineers a century to fully respect. An engine doesn't run on energy. It runs on a difference in energy. A steam engine doesn't care how hot the steam is in some absolute sense. It cares about the gap between the hot steam and the cold air it dumps into. Say the Carnot worked this out in the 1820s. The work you can pull out of any engine depends on the temperature difference across it. Shrink that difference and the engine weakens. Erase it, make both sides equal, and the engine stops. Completely. No matter how much total heat is sitting there. Physicists even have a blunt word for energy that's present but can no longer do anything. Unavailable. It exists, it just can't move anything. It's been spread so evenly that there is nowhere left for it to flow. That even spreading has a name too, entropy. And the end state, maximum entropy. Every part at the same level, no gradients left, That's equilibrium. So here's the law, stated plainly. A system can do work only as long as some part of it is out of balance with another part. Now, swap temperature for tension. Swap heat for talent. What happens to an organization when every part of it finally reaches at the same temperature? We tend to treat stability as a prize. The mature company, the team that's finally clicking. The culture where nobody is fighting, the targets get hit, the meeting ends on time, and everyone agrees. From the inside, that feels like success. It might be equilibrium, because a living organization runs on gradients too, just not thermal ones. The gradient between where the company is and where it once swore it would be. The gradient between a junior who wants your job and you. The gradient between the standard you hold and the work that just landed on your desk. The friction of one person in the room who isn't convinced yet. Those differences are uncomfortable. They are also the only thing that organization can convert into movement. And here is the trap. Almost every instinct a maturing organization has is aimed at removing exactly those differences. We resolve the tension, we smooth the disagreement, we promote the ambitious person until they are comfortable, or we lose them. And we don't replace the heat. We hit the goal and forget to set a harder one. We close the gap between current and the aspired, and we call the flat result that's left over alignment. One gradient at a time, in the name of being a calmer place to work, we flatten the landscape. Until one day, the organization is full of capable, well-paid, genuinely talented people. Enormous energy, and almost none of it's doing any work. Not because anyone failed, just because nothing is out of balance anymore. This is the part that makes equilibrium so hard to catch. A team in crisis announces itself. People argue, miss deadlines, walk out. You know to act. A team at equilibrium looks identical to a team that's thriving. Same calm, same steady numbers, same polite agreement. The difference is that one of them is still converting tension into progress, and the other has simply run out of tension to convert. Picture two organizations. The first is proud of its peace. We've reached a full alignment. Everyone's rowing in the same direction. There is no friction left. They say it like a trophy. The second still has heat in it. There is a standard nobody has quite met. There is a quiet rivalry between two strong teams. There is a leader who keeps naming the gap between good and great and refusing to let it close on its own. The first one sounds healthier. It's the one that's dying. Because no friction left isn't a finish line. In physics, it's the precise definition of a system that can no longer do anything at all. So, the job of leadership isn't only to pour in more energy. Most organizations aren't short on energy. They are stuffed with it. Smart people, good tools, real budgets. The job is to protect the gradients. To keep some part of the system honestly out of balance with another part. A standard that stays just out of reach. A question that isn't settled yet. A next thing that's actually harder than the last one. And this matters. It's not just manufactured drama. Drama is just noise. Random heat with no direction. It burns people out and produces nothing. A real gradient has a direction. It points somewhere. It's the difference between where you are and somewhere you genuinely want to go. So next time a system goes quiet, it could be your team, your product, your own working week. Don't reach first for more energy. More effort, more features, more incentives poured into something that's already full. Ask a colder question. Where did the difference go? What gap used to pull people forward that you have quietly, comfortably, successfully closed? Because a system at perfect rest isn't at its peak. It's just waiting for someone to make it unequal again. That's it for this episode of Physics of Gamification. Equilibrium feels like a success, but a system with no internal difference, no gradient, has nothing left to turn into work. And from the inside, stability and stagnation look exactly the same. I'm Hakan Özer, and next time we'll look at the opposite moment. The critical point where a loose group of people all at once becomes a team. Phase transitions. Until then, keep designing like a physicist.